Good morning, everyone. My name is Chiradeep Mukherjee, and I'm the Functional Project Director on the QHCM project. We have here with us today also Stacy Long, who's the Technical Project Manager, Project Director on the project. Stacy is joining us remote today. On behalf of our sponsors, um, Don Rhodes, our CFO, Peter Murray, our CIO, and Scott Bittner, our Deputy CFO, our project advisors, Diane Farineta, Associate Vice President, CITS, Michael Brown, our Assistant Vice President for Analytics, our implementation partners, Huron, our project leads. We all welcome you to the first QHCM Town Hall today. We'll get started with, so let's see what we have here on the slide. So we got 12 responses, not bad. It's going up slowly. But so what's the one thing you hope to take away from today's town hall? And I'll just read through some of the stuff that you see here. A better idea of what's changing, a better understanding of where we'll be next year, new features of the system. Perfect. This is exactly what we are here today to share with all of you. To keep the responses going. Trying to get the slide up in presentation mode. Give me a second. There you go. All right. So everything these days, you cannot start anything with a QR code. So we have one here for the town hall as well. Now, most of you would have received a notification previously also with the QR code. We are using this to submit. So you can use this to submit your questions regarding the project and any other questions that you may have. We are using an application called Slido to collect all the questions. I'll leave this here for a couple of seconds for all of you to grab this. Again, as we go through the slides, on the top right-hand corner of each slide, you will still have the QR code. You can always, zoom your phone lenses and try to grab it. Again, we will have an extended Q&A session at the end of the presentation, so you can hold on to your questions as well, and we can, we'll be addressing those live also towards the end of the presentation. I'll just leave this here for 10 more seconds, and then we'll continue. I don't see anybody else interested in grabbing the QR code, so I'll just keep moving. So the objective of today's presentation, again, a lot of those questions that we just saw on the Mentimeter is basically to provide a idea to all of you about the changes and impacts that are coming as a result of this project affecting each of your areas operationally. And it's a wide-reaching project, so pretty much everybody at UMB is going to be touched by it in some way or the other. This town hall today is just one of the mediums from the project team side of reaching out to the audience and the users to start the process of explaining to you regarding the features and benefits of this new system, and also gather some valuable feedback as we continue our journey towards go live. Quantum journey. So I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the term quantum. It's not new to UMB. The idea for quantum was conceived, way back before 2019. That's the first stop that you see on the slide here. And the goal was that, the leadership and, UMB decided to upgrade and update their enterprise-wide systems at that time. to basically put UMB on a path of modernization, and to, the other main goal was to make sure that we get everything under uh, one system. So operationally, for example, your finance and HR, these are kind of like your big operational areas supporting any organization. So that was the idea that was conceived at that time. The first thing that happened in 2019 was the go live of our quantum financial system, which a lot of you are using today. I guess all of you are using it in some way or the other. In continuing that journey for quantum, we kickstarted the QHCM project, which is the Quantum Human Capital Management project, to replace our existing PeopleSoft HR systems. We started in 2022 with conducting a discovery phase, which was followed up by a pre-implementation phase, and then we started the actual implementation in July of last year. As you can see, all the markers on this road towards quantum are showing you the journey that we've covered so far. Our go live is at this point around spring of 2025. And you see that last stop, so just to give you an idea, these cloud systems, so we are moving to an Oracle cloud system. The cloud systems push out updates and new features every quarter. And we are in that process right now with our financial systems too. And the same will happen with our HCM systems as well. Oh, Hope, can you please mute? Thank you. Where was I? So the new features and benefits that Oracle or the vendors push, the team, internal team has to kind of go through it and review those, and we release the benefits out. So it's a continuous improvement process, is what I'm trying to get at. So it's basically you keep getting the pushes, keep getting the new features, standard industry-wide accepted best practice features, keep getting rolled out every quarter. So, that's the journey so far, and doesn't end here. It's just we're still in the middle of it. Okay. So these are all the HCM functions that are going to get impacted by this project, or the areas that are going to get impacted by the project, and we have categorized them based on the various different functional and technical areas around the project. I will go through these, and while I go through these, we have all the project team members here today in the room, most of them, and I'll just request as I go through, read out each of the areas, to the leads to please stand up and wave, or just say hi, whatever works. So start with recruiting. All right. Compensation, Emily. Talent management. All right. Learning, onboarding and offboarding, labor distribution, core HR, payroll, absence, thank you, reporting and analytics, position management, benefits.
Saying hello.
Hey, Emily. Planning and budgeting.
Hello.
Yeah, Andy. Conversions. Dheeraj. Time and labor. Security and workflow. Digital assistant. Oracle guided learning. And integrations. So, the thing to take away from this is like, you have all these areas, but behind the scenes also there's a lot of work that goes on to, bring up this system to a live scenario. So like you have all, we have right now conversions going on. There are integrations with the state and other systems around the campus that have to be built. We have the security and workflow piece. So there's all these things that are working parallelly. over and above the design of the other modules. So this slide basically talks about the project timeline and how we basically started in July and where we are headed in terms of phases for the project. So the area to focus on this slide is that middle circle that you see, which says CRP 1, 2, and 3, and I'll come to that in a moment. So we started this project, the implementation part of it, in July of last year. We completed the initiation and planning phases of the project. We are right now in the design and build phase of this project. Just to give you an idea, CRP stands for Conference Room Piloting. And like the word says, conference room piloting, it is basically what happens there is that, so we, with our partner Huron, who brings a lot of experience from the higher ed industry of implementing these systems, their leads configure the system to a basic level with UMB values, and we have some converted data, and we gather with the project core team in a conference room setting where some test scenarios based on the requirements that we've gathered from our discovery and pre-implementation phases, those are basically run through the system. And it's an iterative process, like you could see, it just goes around. So what we basically do in those sessions is that once we run those testing scenarios, we learn, okay, how the system works and what doesn't work. And based on that feedback from the core project team, we tweak it for the next CRP session to make it even better and closer to our requirements. So that is the process of the design and build, that iterative process that you see here. At this point, we have completed successfully CRP1, and we are in the middle of CRP2 as I speak here. And the next CRP session is scheduled in a couple of months from now, which is CRP3. It doesn't end there. The goal here is, though, to get to a point where we are comfortable with the design based on the requirements that we have identified for each of those areas. And then we move into the testing phases, and that's where we will actually start testing the end-to-end product. So like if being the HCM system, it's basically hire to retire life cycle and all the other channels that run around it. So payroll, labor distribution, reporting. So all of those things will start to test in the testing phase. And then comes the training and deployment phase, where of course, we have a training team, we have a change management team who's already working on the project to, gather all the needs, various different requirements of the campus and the users. And we will be reaching out with a training plan, which will be rolled out closer to the go live. And then post go live, we basically support the users with all, because obviously there's going to be a ton of questions. It's a huge change. Sorry. This is a huge change for the campus in general. So obviously there's going to be a stabilization period post go live where we will be supporting, the team will be supporting the users.
Excuse me, Chairdeep, would you mind speaking more into the microphone? It's hard to hear you remotely.
Sure, we'll do that. I'm almost at the end of my slide anyways. But yes. Thank you. Sorry about that. So yeah, and other thing to note, as a result of where we are in the project, we completely understand that there's a lot of questions from all the users out there, and you may take away from today's discussions things that will be impacting your areas, whatever you're doing today operationally or otherwise. And all questions are welcome, because that will help us, understanding better your needs. We may not be able to answer every question that you have today or at this point of the project, just because we are not there yet in terms of complete solutions. So we are more than happy to take back all your questions, and we'll try to answer as many as we can. And also, all the questions that you're posting out to on the Slido app today, and any live questions also that you ask, I think we are going to post those on the project website with answers, all of them that we couldn't answer today. And as I said earlier today, that we have an extended Q&A session at the end. And like I think we planned 30 to 40 minutes. We'll have all the leads here as a panel to answer any of your live questions or anyone that you've submitted. Right. With that, I will pass it on to Peter.
Good morning. Good morning. It's really great to see everybody here in the room this morning, as well as a lot of people in the virtual world out there. I did forget to wear my t-shirt this morning, so I'm sorry about that, but thank you for being here. This is a really exciting, transformational project, implementing a new, contemporary, modern human capital management system for UMB. It's going to affect every employee in this room, every employee who's online, and every employee who's across the university. And it's going to transform. It's going to change the university from an HR management perspective forever. So we're really appreciative of your input, your feedback as we go through the implementation of this modern system. And keep in mind that this system will continue to get better. It will continue to deliver new features, functionality, and technology in the future. And I want to mention that we're very fortunate to have a very strong core implementation team. We have a core of excellent subject matter experts from schools and departments. We have a large team of change champions and a lot of other individuals who are helping implement this project and to make sure it's successful when we go live. So why are we doing this? Why are we changing from our current system to this new HCM application? Well, one primary reason is because it's old. I mean, it has served us well. It really has served us very well. But there's only so much we can do with it. We cannot make it to be the modern application that's available in the marketplace today. In addition, the infrastructure, the hardware, the servers, they're also aged and they're outdated. And they'll get us to implementation, go live, and a little later after that, but we need to decommission them. We need to move away from them, and we certainly are not going to buy any new servers between now and when we go live. Functionality. We have really done well to implement functionality as we've needed with the code that we've developed. We have experts in this room who know that code well and have used it to deliver new functionality. But it gets to a point where it's limited, where we can't go much further with delivering new functionality. Cloud applications. Why cloud? Well, quite simply, the major vendors, the major software vendors, don't sell anything but cloud applications any longer. They just don't sell them. All of their research and development activity and resources are going into cloud applications. And when we buy this application, we not only get all the new features and functionality and modern capabilities of the application, but we get the infrastructure. We get all the servers. All of that's in a protected, secure cloud infrastructure. We don't have to buy any of that to build on premises. With respect to opportunities, it's certainly going to be modern. It's certainly going to have new interfaces and capabilities. But one key thing it's also going to have, just like you use your consumer applications on a daily basis, it's going to drill down to the person level, the position level. So you're going to have better information as an employee, not only as an employee, but also help us as a university to know more about people and positions. So why does it place us in a better position for the future with functionality and technology? The reason why is because it is upgraded, it's enhanced 4 times a year. Every quarter, we get upgrades, whether it's with the technology or with the application. So it's a continuous process of staying modern. We don't have to wait 7 or 10 years to do this again. Hopefully, we'll never have to do this again, because we'll be continually updating the application and the technology. Analytics and reporting functionality. That is so important. We have a great analytics team right now, and we're going to grow that team. We're going to grow functionality and technology with that team. We're going to have reports and dashboards for HR data that we've never had before. It's really going to be very special to help us make decisions regarding human resources. Mobile friendly. You'll be able to have access to the application and data anytime, anywhere, and with any kind of device. It'll be flexible formatting and user-friendly with modern interfaces. Security. HR data is so important to protect. We need to keep it confidential. There's so much sensitive data. We need to protect it. And Oracle has literally hundreds of security engineers that protect the infrastructure, the application, and the data. Far more resources than we can even think about affording at this institution or at any higher education institution. And lastly, really, really exciting, artificial intelligence embedded, built into the application. How many people have used or used ChatGPT or Copilot Chat? Have you ever used that? So they're both tip of the iceberg in terms of generative AI capabilities. Copilot Chat, for example, is available to you on your computer when you go back to your office. If you click on the Edge browser and you look at the like icon in the upper right corner, you click on that, you've got Copilot. It's very similar to ChatGPT. Again, tip of the iceberg. There's going to be so many AI capabilities built into this application going forward. One example is the Oracle Digital Assistant with voice recognition, natural language capability, where you're going to be able to ask the application, prompt it for a question to help you with a task. And it's going to deliver you an answer, some information to help you be more efficient in completing that task. That's going to be very special. And the future is going to be more task-oriented chatbots, more data-oriented chatbots to really build out this AI capability that Oracle's working on. So this is really exciting. I'm glad that so many people are here today to be at this town hall, and we really, really appreciate your participation and interest and help in delivering this application successfully. Thank you.
So before going on to the next slide, you might have got a chance to look at it. Peter, have you excited already? Because I hope to top him here in a little bit. So one of the goals before I change it is to, for the project, is provide access to data. And Luke, you got to take those glasses off. Sorry, I'll be laughing the whole time. Access to data and the ability to use that information to track key performance indicators to help improve the way we manage the business. The new QHCM system will achieve the goal by providing transformational benefits to the UME community in system and process enhancements, capabilities, and more in the following areas. So the first one on here, absence-based reporting. So exempt staff and faculty will no longer need to do timesheets. All right. These employees will move to absence-only reporting, and which Glenda will get into later in the discussion. And more details about timesheets will come in the near future. We will still have the timesheets for non-exempt staff, but for exempt staff and faculty, again, we will not process. So no more duty days. So it will decrease the benefits. It will decrease the manual labor reporting of duty days and timesheets for exempt faculty and staff. Less responsibilities for managers and having to approve timesheets. We'll be proactively planning. Okay, got it. We'll be proactively planning absences and retroactively submitting unplanned absences when needed. And once you submit an absence request, all necessary actions for approval are completed in the system through a workflow, which will take care of the tracking of the absences through the system. Under position management, the campus will have improved visibility into the evolution of vacant positions, so no more tracking of positions off on the side in Excel documents, trying to figure out 2 years ago who was in this position, what did we do with that position over time. The module will be integrated with the recruitment and budgeting processes, which will create more efficiencies throughout the overall process. Under the contemporary and integrated system category, you see on the slide all the systems that will be retired as we move forward into one system within QHCM. This integrated system will allow the users to view retro labor adjustments in real time in the GL. And QA will no longer be any waiting required till the payroll is processing to get that information. And then with integrated delivered analytics, there is a treasure trove of reports already available as we go to roll out the system, and it will provide operational KPIs with to make more empowered decision making. So this project is an organized partnership among HCM project champions, the HCM project SMEs, and the HCM project team. Specific groups have been designated to support areas within QHCM implementation project by collaborating on a regular basis. The QHCM change champions serve as voices to the community. They represent schools and the offices across the entire UMB campus. Goals of the Change Champions are to provide feedback to the project team and share upcoming changes with their teams. The QHCM project SMEs, subject matter experts, are the experts in the specific fields within HR and payroll within the organization. The SMEs will participate and have participated in the design, role mapping, and testing of the new system with the project team. And then there's the QHCM project team, which is ultimately designing and delivering the new Quantum HCM system at UMB. Regular collaborations with change champions, the SMEs, change management and training, and project management teams occurs on a regular basis. And from our viewpoint, this implementation is off to a great start. We're more than halfway through, and we're looking forward to the end game next spring. So everyone knows collaboration is important, essential in higher education. For this project, it is essential. Through our work with financials and labor distribution, we understand the value of collaboration on such a project like this. We want to hear your feedback. It's important to us to have a successful rollout and to get it right the first time. And we're counting on your partnership to ensure success. Collaboration between the project team and you as the campus stakeholders began during the project discovery and will continue throughout the project. So unfortunately, Dawn was not able to be here today, so I will take the lead in talking about some of the information she was going to discuss. So all of you today are part of the community that will be impacted by QHCM. Regular engagements with each of you will groups will take place to help ensure and understand your current HR and payroll related pain points, address those pain points and the desired outcomes for the new system. We'll continue to have town halls from here until we go live, and even beyond go live, we will continue to meet and roll out new information, as Peter indicated, through the quarterly updates. We'll have special presentations, monthly meetings, community-wide communications that will help spread the word in addition to the QHCM website. Your feedback is invaluable. We need it to be successful, and we want to understand your views and take that into careful consideration as we move forward. We will have intentional engagements throughout that will ensure that we are meeting with the impacted groups and effectively connecting with the UMB community with the addition of QHCM. QHCM will not only connect HR and payroll services with other quantum systems like financials, analytics, planning, and budgeting, but it will also bring efficiently to completing HR and payroll processes related to processes to end users at UMB. Create streamlined processes to make your jobs hopefully easier and more efficient. So training is a critical component of this project. And as you're aware, it typically occurs towards the end of the project after the system has been designed, tested, and ready to roll out. We're working to understand what your needs are going to be and how best to support you during this transition. Training will consider all employee types, regardless of the jobs, and focus on the following priorities. For a variety of the training methods will be a combination of self-service, interactive, like classroom style, or instructor-led sessions, just-in-time, and in-system materials. Accessibility, centralized materials so that they are easy to access. Tailored materials will be unique to roles to minimize confusion about what's relevant and for whom. And timely, the training will be aimed to be delivered at the right time, not too early, not too late. It said we'll be rolling out in, I believe it is, starting after January of this year into the go live in the spring timeframe. And I think I covered all the topics. So with that, I will turn it over to Juliet.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Juliet Dickerson. I'm the Functional Project Lead for Human Resources. I usually get to really give information that people are interested in because it's about what's in it for me, right? And so we really are so excited about what this system will do for our campus and for our employees. And I'm going to highlight just two of the features that will be unveiled with the new system, but I promise you there is going to be so many more interesting, helpful, just really transformative tools that will be available as part of the new system. One of the tools that this cloud-based system has embedded that we're using a lot is called journeys. And journeys are really just the organization of tasks to help an employee accomplish a goal. And we love it because it makes it very clean, very easy, very trackable. It lists the steps. It tells the employee exactly what they need to do. It shows if they've completed the task or not. We have the ability to add notifications. So if there's somebody else, if they've completed their part of the task, but somebody else has to do something else, they get a notification. And this is all so transformative because on the earlier slide, I think that Peter presented, you saw all of those systems that we're retiring. And part of the reason why we have to retire all of those systems is because we can't do anything even close to that with our current landscape of HR technology. With no integrations, no connections, we don't have the ability to really maximize work processes, business processes, and communications. So for journeys, I'm just going to talk about two, onboarding and offboarding. But what you see here is basically just some screenshots of what a journey will look like. And why we're so excited about this also is because An applicant now will start in Recruiting Cloud, go through their recruitment process, and then get hired into core HR in one system. And so it will allow us to assign tasks, which we do now. You all know we have a great onboarding process. We've run it for over 10 years. We have a registration system. It works really nicely. But in this system, the applicant will electronically move from being an applicant to a pending worker to an employee. And when they're a pending worker, they'll get assigned their onboarding journey. And their onboarding journey will just very cleanly step them through what the steps we will need them to take before their first day of employment. Things like Section 1 of the I-9, health and retirement information, intake. Those things happen now, but a feature in this system that doesn't happen now is that we'll be able to track if they've actually done their tasks. And right now, we don't know until they show up if they've done their tasks. But having a fully unified system will allow us to help them and also help us to be prepared for them to start. We do centralized onboarding. We are working with the identity management team on how provisioning email and access to systems will work with the new system. And the ultimate goal is the user experience. The ultimate goal is to have a new employee just start and have everything they need to start, whether it's their access to their system, their laptop, their parking, their office, all of those things. This is the employee onboard, the new hire onboarding journey. There's also a complementary onboarding journey being built for the manager. So when the applicant accepts their job, not only do they get their onboarding journey, but their manager will get a notification for their onboarding journey. Hey, Juliet's starting in 2 weeks. These are the things you might want to make sure you have done before Juliet gets here, right? And we know that happens on campus. We know that happens all over campus. You all have done a fabulous job creating your own systems to create a smooth transition for employees coming to the university. But having it all in an integrated system will make it easier to track, it'll make it easier to account for, so we're really excited about that. And then the complementary journey is offboarding. And we've needed this forever, so I'm super excited. I know there's work being done right now on offboarding on campus, so we're working very closely with HR. And the complementary offboarding journey will be so helpful in so many ways, because one of the new features in this system is that when an employee resigns, like right now, typically what happens is if an employee resigns, they email, they probably have a conversation with their line manager. I've accepted a job and this will be my last day. They email it to make it official, right? Sometimes it gets to the payroll rep in time. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it gets to the IT administrator in time. Sometimes it doesn't. But in this new system, employees will resign in the system. They can still have those conversations with their hiring managers, but they're going to submit their resignation in the system. And by submitting a resignation in the system, that will trigger an offboarding journey for the employee and for the manager, right? And so we're like super excited about this. So now everybody who needs to know that Juliet's leaving will know before Juliet's gone. And there are some things that we're building on the offboarding journey. Typical things like, of course, returning resources, keys, that sort of thing. Employee payouts, we expect to just, the amount of work we do, the amount of rehiring we do to just pay people out because timesheets didn't get processed before they left. You all know, you know how that game works. We expect that to decrease to almost nothing with this new system. Supplemental retirement, transfer knowledge and transition plan. I love this. We're building in the offboarding journey a document that will help the employee and the manager just capture, like, what are you leaving? Like, what are your projects? What are your committees? What are your due dates? Where do things stand, right? And we know, depending on where you work, that might happen, but we also know it doesn't happen everywhere. So we're building these journeys at a central level so that they can apply for the whole campus. You all will continue, because you have very specialized needs in your units, to then enhance for what you need. But we're streamlining a lot of this communication, and we're streamlining a lot of the work. And we're super excited about that. And with that, I am going to turn it over to Glenda, who's going to share some other exciting information.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. For those who haven't met me, my name is Glenda Beige Randall. I was previously the payroll manager at the Office of the Controller, and I transitioned to the project over 2 years ago as the functional lead for payroll, time and labor, and absence. Happy to be here with you. Today, I want to touch base in two important keys regarding the timekeeping in Quantum HCM. The first one is the time card changes to exempt and faculty employees. So following in Scott's announcements, oh, sorry, I'm talking in the wrong slide. Yeah. Okay. So following Scott's announcements, exempt and faculty employees will no longer be required to complete time cards. Again. So what does it mean for you guys? So first, you still need to complete time cards right now. This will not take effect until April 2025. So please keep submitting your timesheets in time. You don't want to be in Canada's delinquent timesheet list. Keep submitting. This will not be effect until April 2025. Second, non-exempt and hourly employees will still be required to complete time cards. They will still need to submit their in and out times. This change only applies for exempt and faculty employees. Exempt and faculty will be transitioned to an absence-based reporting system. And what is absence-based reporting system? That means that these employees will only be reporting leave taken and not duty days, which is what we report today in PeopleSoft. Something that I want to remind that it is important to remind everybody is that regardless of the time cards, all of the employees eligible for like leave benefit plan, they will still be required to submit leave in the system. Whether you are non-exempt, faculty exempt, if you are eligible for leave benefits, you will still be required to submit leave in future state with Quantum HCM. So some of you might be asking, okay, Glenda, so if an exempt and faculty employee is not submitting their time card, how in the world they are going to report the leave in Quantum HCM? So unlike PeopleSoft, Quantum HCM tracks hours worked and leave taken in two separate modules. When I say two modules, it doesn't mean two separate systems. It's just 2 clicks under the different system, right? So that's going to be the difference. So as Chirodip mentioned in one of his slides about the scope of the project, there's 2 separate modules. We have time and labor module, and we have the absence module. So the time and labor module is that absence that handle tracking time worked. So when I say time work, it's all of your time reported codes like regular in and out times, overtime, shift, on call. While the absence module will be handling tracking all of your leave taken. So that's your parental leave, annual leave, sick leave. So it's 2 separate modules that will be tracking in different areas. And that's why we could make the decision about removing the requirement for timesheets for exempt and faculty employees. So while I'm talking about absence, I'm going to switch gears into my next topic, which is the absence planning tool. So the absence planning tool, I think it's a very cool tool that I think it's going to be game-changing for line managers or supervisors. And why is that? It's because with this tool, they should be able to simplify their employees' coverage management based on absences. So in one space, line managers will be able to capture requests of time off from their employees. They are going to be able to see any absences that need to be approved or not. And they are going to be helping them make like reasonable decisions whether to approve or deny their employees' absence request. So what the absence planner can do for you, again, record all employees' time off in one space, provide a clear view of your staffing coverage per day or per a period of time, and then will help you make informed decisions regarding the absence approval. So with this slide, you can see there's 3 ways that the line managers will be able to review the data: the main table, via conflict, and timeline. And I'm gonna switch to the next slide to show you exactly what it is. So this is how the absence planning tool will look like. As a line manager, you're gonna be able to see all of your employees' time request. You're gonna see the status of that leave request, whether it needs your approval, whether it has been approved, a schedule. You're gonna see the employee, the type of absence that it was requested, day that it was requested, at the time frame. So if you're requesting leave for 1 day, multiple days, you're gonna see it all in one screen. And then we have the conflict column. So you see the number 1 in the conflict column. And I'm gonna move into the next slide. And this is what it's really cool. So when you see the conflict, you're gonna see, oh, okay, I cannot even read. In that day, 2 of your employees are gonna be off. Oh, sorry. 2 of your employees are gonna be off. So then you will be able to decide a made up true decision whether, okay, how is gonna be the coverage for that day for my area? Should I approve both absences, or should I just give one absence to one employee or not? So you'll be able to manage the coverage daily or for a time frame. And then we have the timeline view. The timeline view is the same information, just in a better view. But I feel that this is gonna be life changer for line managers. You no longer will have to go into Outlook and see your employee's request of leave, who's gonna be in, who's gonna be out. So you're gonna be able to see all of that in one screen. So that's it for me. If you have any questions regarding the timesheets of the absence, there's gonna be a Q&A like Chira did mention. I will be happy to help as much as I can with the answers. If not, feel free to submit your questions to the thingy. Pardon my professionalism. What's the name? The QR. Submit your questions, and I'll pass it on to Neil for reporting. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Neil Gallico. I'm the functional lead for reporting and analytics. I'm here with Molly Poon, who's our technical lead. She'll share this presentation. And actually, let's see. Reporting and analytics. So what is the Quantum HCM reporting hub, and how does it fit into Quantum HCM? I've been a user of reporting for quite a while. I've been on this campus for a while. I've had multiple roles in different departments. Reporting is my life. Prior to this, I would say, I relied on it. I mean, my job relied on it. So the idea of getting reporting right is key. As Scott mentioned earlier, integrated delivered analytics. We hope that Oracle delivers quite a robust portfolio of reports, but at the same time, we're prepared to develop a robust portfolio of custom reports, and that's what we're working on right now. And that is the job of our reporting team, to develop and deliver. As I mentioned, it's a key element to get right. From my perspective, it is the key element to get right, and to make all my friends happy in the schools, it's a key element to get right. In that respect, our mantra is data-informed decision-making. Each Quantum HCM functional area or module will have a corresponding portfolio of reports and analytical tools within the reporting hub that supports a successful workflow process and provides you with the ability to make confident business decisions. I know right now a lot of those decisions are reactive. With good reporting, hopefully they'll be very proactive. But what is a hub? And given my prior experience with HCM queries, the idea of a hub was new to me. I actually didn't realize it until I saw this slide, and I didn't really put 2 and 2 together. But it's a logical approach to organize the large volume of HR management questions that we need to address. I recently counted 115 demographic fields that could be attributed to any one position. We want to track all those fields, but not necessarily all at the same time. And that is even before we added in labor distribution. So how we organize that level of information, how we want it to flow, will be set up through the hub. There will be a logic because the hub will parallel directly each of the functional modules. So starting with the critical operational questions surrounding payroll, recruitment, compensation, etc., the goal for the reporting hub portfolio is to respond to all of your management questions with a specific list of reports providing data access that is tailored to your role. I think that structure is a key asset. Number one, for productivity, you'll know where to get reports. Right now, if you go through HRMS query list, unless you go into the advanced search and begin to search by recruitment, benefits, etc., you get somewhat lost in the 1,000 items in there. And then going forward, this is potentially, I think, a very good training tool. So, how are we developing the list of reports? So developing and designing a list of reports has been an iterative process that's engaged more than just our team, although their team has been very important to that. I grabbed this quote from a software site that I thought really defines the process well. Critical thinking with data means finding insights and communicating them in a useful way. The insights, the required analysis, and preferred delivery format of the data has been provided by representatives from each school, central office, and also the functional leads on our team. Everybody's contributed their list of queries. They've given me a list of questions. Each time we meet, those questions get expanded, a little more sophisticated. It will keep growing, and evaluating issues and solutions in this manner will continue. Same iterative process. We'll stick with that through the testing phase, the go-live phase, and beyond. So I think there are probably a lot of people in this room that have participated in that. We'll keep that going. Ideally, as it was shown before, during CRP3, there'll be a testing opportunity once we have sufficient data in the system to work with. And then I can always pull out my large Excel sheets and share those with everybody, which has the infinite list of everything you'd like to know. So, and Molly will give you a shot of what the future looks like.
Hi, everyone. I'm Molly Poon. I'm the technical lead for data analytics, and I'm going to actually show you what it's going to look like when you want to access your reports. So when you're in HCM and you're on a home page, you'll have a navigator key, and if you look on the top left, that's that hamburger, those 3 lines that we have highlighted up there. And from here, you can select and you scroll down to the reporting hubs, which Neil has mentioned. And as he said, the way we designed it is that it's going to be categorized by the different functional areas. So you have like absence reporting, benefits, payrolls, all those different functional groups. And access to these hubs are going to be based on your user role. So essentially, you'll only see the reports that are pertinent to you. You don't get a lot of the noise. You see what you need to see. Once you select one of these hubs, it'll bring you to a page that will list all those reports in that functional area, as well as just like a brief description as to what the report is for and how to use it. And then as you select the report, this is going to be the general layout of what we have, and this is going to be the general layout for the majority of the reports you will see. We have our prompts on the left-hand side. Once you enter in those prompts, your report will populate on the right. And as you can see, there's multiple sections there. We have, obviously, the report title at the top. And right next to that, we have some report run statistics. When did you run the report? How long did it take to run? Information like that. Below that is our summary. And that's just kind of giving you a snapshot of what your report's going to have. Maybe how many records, how many transactions, or a summary based on like a description field within the report. Just a quick overview of everything. And then obviously in the details is the report itself, right? This is what you're running the report for. This is the information you wanted to see. Finally, at the end, there's these 2 sections here that we have in gray. And and I kind of like to call them like our report helpers. They provide that extra information that you need. So all that information you entered in for prompts, you now see down there. And this part is extremely helpful if you decide to, say, print a report or you export it into a different file format. You have that information there. So you don't look at the report and be like, what dates did I run this for? Or like what information is all listed there. So you can recreate this report if you need to, or have a better explanation as to timeframes and such. And then finally, that bottom section is how to do that, right? Like the links to print the report, to export it into the different file formats, as well as refreshing the report if you needed to. Real quick overview, I know I kind of went through it really fast, but we really hope that the way we like kind of structured and developed these reports, it's going to be a lot more beneficial than what you're doing or how you're doing it now. As Neil referenced, it's kind of a little bit of a maze to get to these PeopleSoft reports, and hopefully that'll make it easier for you to access and utilize all the new reports that we'll be having in HCM.
Good morning, everyone. How are you guys doing so far? My name is Solomon Brito. I'm here to share some exciting aspects of the newer technologies. Okay, so today we stand at the threshold of a revolutionary era where the technology is transforming the world in an unprecedented pace. Artificial intelligence, machine language, Internet of Things, where the machines can communicate with each other. We've already seen Alexa. You can communicate with electronic devices using a human conversation kind of style, right? So we bring in these technologies and implementing in this project. So in the midst of all this technologies and the way the technologies are redefining the way we live, work, and interact. And I'm really excited to talk about the digital assistant. In what way this is different from what you do today. A lot of applications these days still use this conventional or traditional way of accessing information. So if you want to access a piece of information, you still have to remember the navigation path, or you have to wait through some screens to get the piece of information. Guess what? With digital assistant, you can have a human-like conversation to fetch that information. So that's the ability it's got. And moreover, it's not like every time you talk or have a conversation with the digital assistant, you have to use the same words or the same sentence formation. You can just add some variation in asking the questions. And this digital assistant has the ability to learn and kind of sense the context, what you're talking about, and respond to you. So that's the benefit, that's the advantage of this particular AI-powered tool. For now, what we are trying to do or aim to do with this project is basically to give you the functionality on 3 areas. The first area is the self-service transactions for the employee as well as the manager. The second area is the hiring for the hiring managers, where the manager can check the status of the job requisitions and also see if there are any outstanding pending offers. And the third area is for the candidate queries. That's both for internal and external. Internal meaning the employees can look out for job or job search. They can also check the application status, or they can even withdraw the application. It also provides a platform or ability for the external candidates to search for the jobs within UMB, check their application status, and also withdraw the application status. So the key thing to remember here is this interface basically gives a platform to have a conversation. So let's see some of the examples, okay, a sample of the conversation. So this is a screen, I hope you can see. So one such example, can I book an absence? So that's the question you would ask. You don't have to necessarily use the same words, right? So that's what the machine learning, the artificial intelligence is. You can ask, I want to book an absence. So the digital assistance kinds of senses that it's got the ability to sense that context. And it can say, okay, you want to book an absence. Can you tell me the type? It interacts with you because it needs more information to complete the transaction. So it gives you an option. Say what is that you want to, what type of vacation you want, absence you want to book. Sick, vacation, training, cancel. Okay, then you could say vacation. Then it helps you, it interacts with you to complete the transaction. In the second screen, okay, can I see my last pay slip? It gives you that information. I mean, you can read it yourself. You can click on the link if you want to additional information. It will even provide you the link where you can just click the link and go to that screen. I need to log an expense. So things like that. So this is very helpful, right? So for a lot of people, right? For any type of people or any kind of users, one of the main benefit is the conversation. Okay, so with the conversation, for example, let's say I am HCM, I don't know where the information resides. I can interact with the digital assistant, get that piece of information, or I can even use digital assistant to perform a task. Okay, it will walk you through to complete that task. And using this ability to get the information, I'll be able to make decisions. So that's the benefit. So just to summarize, why would you use digital assistant? To get quick answers to our questions. Okay, again, like I said, you don't have to wade through screens to get the piece of information. Just ask question, it will give you the answers. Then efficiently perform tasks and transactions. It's just not about asking questions or just to get a piece of information. You can still use a digital assistant to help you complete a task. And of course, the main benefit, why would you access any application? To access relevant data to inform your decision. So we are really excited to give you the latest technologies so that it makes the user experience or makes life easier for you to accomplish the daily routine task. So with that said, I'll pass on to time.
All right. Good morning, everybody. You know, when you're tall, sometimes like you want to go like this, but you just wish it could kind of move around with you. But again, good morning. Let's give it up one more time for all of our presenters this morning. Everybody's doing such a wonderful job, and we're learning so much about this new system. Not sure if you're excited, but I'm definitely excited. Those of you who may not know me, I'm with you, Scott. Luke has those glasses on. I should have brought mine, so we could have been twins today, Luke. All right, so let's go into Oracle Guided Learning. I am really excited about OGL, and I guess I should introduce myself first. My name is Ayana Thompson. I am the lead Oracle Guided Learning person on this project, and those who may not know me, I did work at the university for a while. I worked in benefits for about 9 years before I left and then came back. So I'm excited to see where the system is going to take us. Oracle Guided Learning, and we just call it OGL. What it is, it's pretty much in system. So when Peter talked a little bit earlier about the new technology that we're going to be using, this is a part of it. So OGL is in system 24/7 support that's going to help all end users when you are going through this brand new system, because you've been used to PeopleSoft for I don't know how long, and this will definitely help you, give you that little bit of assistance that it's kind of comfort. It's like your comfort person. And we'll talk about the widget in a minute. So that's like your little comfort widget. That's what I'm going to refer to it as right now. but it'll help you walk through the system to get a lot of great information. Now, OGL is not training. We do have an amazing training lead, which she just looked down, but Laura Poliano is our training lead. And as Scott mentioned, we will have training starting beginning next year, and it is coming. But Oracle Guided Learning is going to serve as a reinforcement to training. So it's going to be there because, you know, we work all hours of the day. So you're doing a transaction. You shouldn't be working at midnight, but maybe you are, and you need a little bit more help. You're like, hey, I did this great training. I think I know what I'm doing, but I need a little bit more help. So that's what OGL is going to help with. And with OGL, the guides are going to be, and again, earlier you saw all of the different functionalities that will be in the new QHCM system. So guides will be available for all of these listed areas. So you may be wondering, how do I get to OGL? So once you're able to look in the system, which will be coming shortly, our little comfort widget or our widget will be living here. So it's the right there with the eye and the little dots. And it's always going to live on the right-hand side of your screen when you first open up QHCM. You can move it, so you'll use the little 9 dots. You can move it around the screen as you need to. And then if you wanted information, you just click on the I for information. So therefore, you'll just click on that I, and you'll be able to open up to all of your content. So you'll see the picture here, how it's listed, and that's where all of the guides will be. So a lot of the guides will be tailored for your whatever your role is. So everybody's not going to see the same guides. But one of the guides that I am going to go over, which is really briefly, is manage my personal details. Everybody's going to need to do that. So everybody will have access to that, but it will be tailored to whatever your role is. And with Oracle Guided Learning also, in the little bar area there, we'll be able to put different links there. So we'll have links to things like the homepage for University of Maryland, Baltimore. Also something near and dear to my heart, the SPS Workday system for health benefits, where you enroll or make changes during open enrollment. So you'll be able to make those, be able to click and have quick access there. But what the, under your content, this is where everything will be kind of housed, and it will also be sectioned off, so you'll be able to go there to see it. So kind of looking into the system, now this is just what it looks like right now. We're still in development, and this may change. But this is kind of what it looks like now. I kind of like the pink or the salmon or whatever color you want to call it. That's into my colors. But this is what it will look like when you go into one of our process guides. So the process guide, again, is just going to walk you through step by step. And one good thing, which I'll show next, is the other capabilities that Oracle Guided Learning has, because it'll help each user learns a little bit differently. So with the process guide, it's going to take you step by step, like as this example is, if you wanted to manage your personal details, you'll click on under your content, and I'll show that picture again in a second. And then that will take you through the guide. You kind of click through and click through and click through, and it'll walk you through exactly what you need to do. So one good thing about the process guide, again, it's midnight. You just realized I moved 10 months ago and I need to update my address because I never did it. And this is where you'll go and you think, oh my gosh, I got it. I learned it. I'm really good. And you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot how to do this. You can open up a guide. It'll start you from the beginning. However, it'll help walk you step by step through the process. And one of the things that'll pop up is really fuzzy here, but the biggest thing that'll pop up is like a synopsis of what the guide is about. And it'll tell you, you have to follow everything in order for it to work. So if you don't go step by step, something will mess up and you have to start over again. So just make sure you're walking through as the steps go on. So a couple other features of Oracle Guided Learning are the job aids and the videos or video for whichever guide that you're going to be opening. So again, this is where the content lives that I mentioned. So you'll be able to click on the 3 dots that are listed here. So with those 3 dots, if you started from the beginning, you can just click on the name of it, manage my personal details, and it'll open the guide. But if you wanted to have a job aid or a video, you're able to click on the 3 dots and it'll give you the options. So the job aid is kind of cool. It's for the learner who, okay, I got this, but I may need some help on the side a little bit. So with the job aid, you're able to, like if you have 2 monitors, you're able to put that maybe on another screen. You can print it out. You can email it to somebody. So say you have a new hire coming in and you wanted to get them some instructions on how to do certain things. So that's what the job aid will be, or it can just be a little helpful guide. And then also the video doesn't have music, but it still kind of walks you through step by step. So depending on how you learn, if you just want it to go through it for you, that's a process guide. Job aid is kind of just hanging in the section, just waiting for if you need a little bit of help. In the video, you can watch it, do it, and then maybe you can go back and try it yourself. So again, Oracle Guided Learning is just that reinforcement, that safety net for all end users once you've gone through training and you're using the system. And smart tips. Smart tips are really hot right now in the project. And shout out to everybody that's submitting stuff for Ryan and I to do for smart tips. And you may have seen smart tips before in different applications that you've used. It's always like a little question mark or a little bubble, and it will be like a little red question mark here. And what it is, it's pretty much, it's like a quick definition to kind of give you a little bit of context of what it's next to. So with this, for this example, when the employee start date is, you probably know that, but in this new system, if you're just like, oh my gosh, I haven't hired anybody in a long time, I forgot, or when is the start date supposed to be? So in this example, we just have a little smart tip there, and you just hover over it. So it's not a click thing, you kind of hover over it and it opens, and it will give you the information to kind of help with that. So with Oracle Guided Learning, it has so much great information. We're just going to utilize technology really well with this project, and you'll have your process guides, you'll have your job aids, you'll have your videos, and then also our wonderful smart tips. So that is all I have this morning, and I'm going to turn it over to Jen.
We're going to take like a really short little pause between the content and our Q&A session to give away some Quantum HCM swag. So if you're virtual, you just get to listen to us raffle off. It's only open to in-person attendees. So we're going to draw from our bucket, and then if you need to go to the restroom between the Q&A part, feel free. You do not get a prize, Glenda. So sorry. She's won everything on this project, I'm just saying. So I'm going to move away from the mic, and we're going to just do it in person. All right, for the Q&A panel, we're going to start with the early submitted questions that people submitted to Slido before today's town hall. So we're going to read those aloud, give the answers, and then we'll turn it over to live questions. But please feel free to continue to add to Slido if you have any questions, because we will be answering some of those as well. But we'll do Allison's first, and then the live ones. Yeah. Okay. We're missing some of our answerers from the panel. So here they come. Okay. Ready?
Okay. Okay, we'll start with, will the new absence module be mobile device enabled to allow employees to submit and manage approved leave requests from their phone?
Yes. Yes, you should be. We don't know exactly how it's going to look right now. Again, we're in the early design phase, but the answer is yes. We should be able to submit absences through a mobile device.
Okay, next. Given the cloud-based storage of data, how will Oracle safeguard personal information from hackers and use on the dark web?
I can answer that.
I can try to answer that, but assuming, when we go to these cloud systems, as I had earlier mentioned, that these are industry best practices they follow. So Oracle, you being the corporation that it is, a lot of these cloud vendors, they have a foolproof way of safeguarding data. It can't get better than this. You don't have standards better than this. Even, I can only say this, that even defense corporations trust them with their data. So, should be good.
Two more from earlier. Kevin, I think this one is for you. Can we do multiple direct retros at once?
Yes.
Okay, and then before we go to live questions, will Percipio still run, or will the learning component of Quantum HCM take over?
So we are committing to the Oracle HCM learning platform.
Excuse me, can I interject? The online people are having trouble hearing, so if
Sure.
everyone could speak real close to the microphone, that'd be great.
Thank you, Stacy. Is this better?
It is for me. I'll monitor the chat and let you know. Yes, they're saying yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we are committed to the Oracle platform for learning management. We are also committed to continuing Percipio. Skillsoft and Percipio are, as we speak, in a process together to build an integration. We have been told unofficially that that will happen by the time we need it to happen. So the short answer is yes to both.
Okay. That's it from everything before. You can go to live questions.
Oh, hi. Sorry. Okay. Two questions. One, for the onboarding, offboarding journeys, you said that it'll create a journey for the employee or the candidate and their manager.
Yes.
Okay. What about us admin who have to process the stuff? Will we have access to that also?
Yeah, so that's still being built out. Who will have access to what? The key actors that we know for a fact are the employee and the line manager, but we're also considering the other folks who are in the department who also need that information. Sure.
For the ODA, one of the examples of the conversation was I'd like to log in an expense. Is this going to be linked in any capacity to either Quantum Financials for like a non-PO invoice reimbursement or to Concur for reimbursements?
That's yet to be determined, I would say at this point. We're still, this is primarily being used and going to be used for HCM related processes, at least initially. So yeah, at this point, we'll take that question, but we'll see how well this goes for this piece of it. We'll be able to answer more later.
So following up on Juliet, could you explain a little bit so everybody's clear what Oracle Learning Management is?
Oracle Learning Management is a learning management platform. It's like a learning management system. And so it's really the platform that houses the training and the different learning tools, if you will, that are available to the campus.
Thank you. Will there be absence planning for trainees, fellows? Currently, they don't do timesheets. So I'm just curious about that. School of Medicine has about 300 fellows and trainees.
Yes, we're gonna do leave planning for, that's category 19, right? The fellows and postdocs, yes. So we're gonna start tracking in future state their leave in the system. We're still in the design process, but that's the goal. They are not gonna complete time cards because they are paid as a salaried employee, so therefore they are not gonna complete time cards, but we are gonna track the leave within the system.
And currently they're front loaded with leave. So it's a little different process than accruing leave over time.
Correct. And that's something that we need to discuss with you guys, whether that's the approach we want to keep doing, if we want to front load or do an accrual. We currently have, like, for example, this contractual to employees, they are front loaded. So that's something that we have the capability of doing for the fellows if needed to be, but that's something that we can discuss how will be the best approach to manage their leave.
Juliet, as far as the journey, will it include mandatory training for the employees and supervisor assigned training?
I'm sorry, repeat that?
For the journey of the employee, will it include mandatory training and supervisor assigned training?
So the onboarding journey is really designed to get the employees started, right? And so kind of similar to how onboarding works now, it's really about getting the employee on payroll, making sure they have their retirement information, their health benefits information. And so for the actual onboarding journey, there won't be a training component there, but there will be a day two kind of, if you will, onboard. You know, we call it kind of day two. Like, what do you do after you've kind of gotten everybody on payroll? What are the next things? And so we'll be looking to expand our journeys into those areas as well. And we're using journeys, we used onboarding and offboarding, but we're building journeys for like the child care grant, live near your work, NRAs. Now I just lost what I was gonna. You said NRAs, and it took me off my train of thought. But anyway, we're using journeys We are so excited about journeys. We're gonna go live with a set of journeys, and then we're just gonna keep building journeys.
Right, so it should be the whole life cycle of the employee.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then my second question is, we have a lot of faculty, non-tenured faculty, that we may issue a non-renewal for. And how will that get into the system? I mean, I guess once the employee gets their notice of non-renewal, they would put it in.
Yeah.
What happens if that's rescinded by the department?
Yeah, so if a resignation is submitted in the system, it can always be rescinded for a multitude of reasons, for all categories of employees.
Good morning. I understand the EPAV's going away, but I'm trying to find out exactly how would that affect the already like faculties that have FTE changes or anything dealing with their salary changes. How would a new system have an impact on changes to faculty staff?
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. So EPAF is going away. I think that deserves a round of applause. It usually gets a round of applause when I mention that EPAF is going away. So all of the actions that you're currently doing through EPAF are accounted for in the new system. So if one of the primary duties of your job is processing EPAFs, right? You're gonna get lots of training on what that's gonna look like in the new system. So the end result is we'll still have the same actions that happen right now in EPAF, but they're all gonna be done in the new system.
Will there still be an in-person component to onboarding?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are the 3 top things you're most excited about, Julia?
First are your glasses for sure.
It's kind of hard to say, especially where we are. It was mentioned that we are kind of at the end stage of CRP2, the conference room pilot testing round 2. So in this round of testing, we had a lot of objects pulled out of PeopleSoft and put in the new system that really let us kind of see how it's going to work. We're not there yet. We're still designing, we're still building, but this felt a lot closer to what Go Live is going to look like. And there are some things that we didn't even show that I just think are going to be so exciting. Employees will have access to just their own information in a way that they don't have right now. They'll be able to create their own talent profiles. So every time you take a training, every time you do an online something, you need get a CE credit, you'll be able to just go into your profile, put it in there, and then, at PDP time, you can go into your file and see, like, what did I do all year to account for all of that? So we know a lot of this work we know happens in lots of different systems and lots of different ways, but having it in one unified system, like, I just can't even explain how transformative that is. I'm especially excited for employees to just have access to their data. Our business processes, we are, you all know this, we're state, we're university. A lot of our policies are just our policies, and there's just like nothing we can do about them, right? But we have looked at all of our business processes and tried to really find more efficient and effective ways to do our business with the new system. So I think those are just a couple of the things that I'm really excited about. You'll see more as we get closer. We have some SME demos coming up. We want to hear from the campus. Invite us into your spaces if you think this information is beneficial and there are just people who aren't accessing all of the different committees and groups that we're touching. Invite us in. We're happy to come in. We're happy to do a demo. We're happy to show what we're doing. Because as it was mentioned earlier, every employee touches a new system. Even if the only thing you do is your timesheet in the system, every employee is going to have to touch this new system. We haven't done that since we implemented PeopleSoft, really.
I think this question was asked a little bit, but something similar. Employee class 13, 16, and 31 not exempts, Maryland Safe Sick and Leave Act. The tracking of that leave, will that be integrated? Thank you. Awesome. Finally.
Me, as in payroll, I never get highlights. There's no highlights in payroll. They just say, Glenda, you just pay people and that's fine. But today I have 3 highlights. So 1, the absence planner. 2, the exempt and faculty timesheet, and now Seek and Save. So yes, we're gonna be tracking Seek and Save. Again, early in the game, we don't know how is that gonna work, but it's gonna happen. So we're gonna be tracking Seek and Save for all employees eligible for it. So no more shadow systems, tracking it manually, gone.
Glenda, how does this affect our tax forms and Central Payroll Bureau?
That's still gonna exist, Amira. That's still there, CPB requirements. What we are trying to do is incorporate it during the onboarding process so we can collect those forms in a timely manner. But the requirement to collect paper forms and all of that comes from CPB, and there's nothing we could do about that, but we are just trying to alleviate it, to incorporate it in the onboarding process so we can get those forms as soon as possible and don't having to deal with employees getting live checks or addresses not being updated in the system, taxes withheld incorrectly. So, but yeah, unfortunately, the paper forms per se, they are not going away because that's CPB's requirement.
Okay, that applies for the Glacier also.
The same for the Glacier, but there's, oh my God, 4 today. NRA onboarding.
Okay.
So we are doing a separate onboarding journey when an employee indicates that they are foreign nationals, non-US citizens, or green card holders. It's going to initiate a separate onboarding journey. So with the delays that we have right now with us creating their Glacier record for them to go into Glacier and enter the information, with the onboarding, that should alleviate all of those issues. And then, like Juliet explained about the journeys, it's a task, right, that the payroll office will need to complete, the employee will be complete, you as the payroll rep will be notified along the way about the process. So this will create a more efficient process for the NRA. We still have we still need to collect the paper forms, we need to send them to CPB, but at least the UMB part, we will try to make it better for you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, a few more questions we got online. So, Juliet, this is for you. Will the system track telework schedules?
We are accounting for telework in the new system. One of the things that we've kind of learned along this process is that the cloud-based system has a lot of flexibility, but there are just some things that are quirky to kind of university, Maryland state culture, whatever you want to attribute it to, where it doesn't work perfectly. And so we are working on how best to track telework in the new system. So more on that to come.
Okay, thanks. I've got a couple for Glenda now, and this is a twofer. So, can absence planning be integrated to your Outlook calendar? And does it generate a calendar based on leave requests to automatically show in your Outlook calendar?
No.
No.
So unfortunately, right now, there's no integration between the absence planner and Outlook. I already asked that question before that person asked the question. And the answer was no, so blame it on Oracle, not on UMB. But of course, Oracle is always releasing new things, right, quarterly. So maybe we can suggest that in one of the lab ideas and put a lot of pressure on it, and maybe it can come. But again, at their expense. It's not UMB's fault, it's Oracle completely.
We will have actually an Outlook integration on the recruitment side. So it's kind of interesting. I'm not quite sure why Oracle hasn't just sort of done an Outlook integration throughout all of their tools, because on the recruitment side, there will be an Outlook integration. And so you'll be able to like schedule interviews and it'll be on your Outlook calendar. And if you're the person who schedules like the faculty interviews for, you know, whatever, you'll be able to access several calendars and determine like when's a good time to bring people in to interview. More on that to come. So there's like some really exciting, cool stuff there. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if Oracle does that Outlook integration throughout the whole thing.
And can I add something more? And correct me if I'm mistaken, Laura and Al. So even if there's no integration with Outlook, I don't think we will need Outlook that much, because the absence request is going to be generated within the absence module. So when an employee is requesting time off, let's say I'm going to my supervisor, hey, Chiradip, I'm going to cruise, submit my 20 hours, 20 weeks of vacation. It's going to be within the absence module. So that right there, it's the approval. So Chiradip doesn't have to go into all Outlook and mark my absence, or I don't have to go into Outlook to mark my absence. Because him, as the line manager, should be going to the absence planner and see their employee's absence request. So actually, it's removing the Outlook piece of the story, right? So yes, but we can request the integration if you need still Outlook.
Okay. With absence planning, can managers block out times during the year when everyone is expected to work?
I don't know.
No.
Oh.
I read the wrong question. The answer is no. But again, absence planning is fairly new to Oracle, so it is something that we could see in the future, as they've been making a lot of updates and new functionalities to absence. So not currently. We have one more on absence planning. Does it generate a calendar based on leave requests to show who is in and out across the calendar each week for an entire team of direct reports?
Yes, so with the timeline, you should be able to see all of your employees' leave request, the status of them, and there's the calendar view.
We've just got a couple more. Will Quantum Financials and Quantum Analytics be on the same platform, or do I need to log into different platforms for each application?
And I should ask Molly to answer this one, but in terms of reporting right now, there will be a single interface, is my understanding. And you should not have to log into Quantum Analytics, but Quantum Analytics will remain and Quantum Financials will remain. And in terms of the structure, the reporting hub basically is similar to your experience with Quantum Analytics. So you'll have one login point.
And Quantum Financials and Quantum HCM are the same login. It's one system.
As far as the absence tracking again, is that something that there's any way that, like, the admin could have overall access to view? Because, you know, we have all the different labs, so each PI has their lab and they would be the approver. But it would be convenient, not necessary, but convenient for the admin to be able to at least see who's here, who's not.
So beyond the line manager, you're requesting another access for an employee to supersede the whole.
Not necessarily with the approval authority, maybe just viewing rights.
Just view access?
Yeah, because the admin, you know, a lot, that helps us to know, you know, who's here, who's not, because we don't always know.
So to be honest, I don't know. I know that somebody asked whether other employees will be able to see their colleagues' absence, right? In order to, okay, let me schedule my absence and let me see if Kevin is off so I can take time off, right? So that's not it, like that's not a possibility right now. In regards to the admin to have view access, that's something we will have to see. I'm not sure of that right now. I will say I'm leaning more towards it cannot be possible, but we will have to see. Maybe a security role will allow to see that, not any approval actions, but just view access. So we will have to look into it.
Okay, thank you.
You can also pull real-time reports for absences, so that could be an alternative option, is to pull real-time across this time period, who's out, and what days. Yes, I believe so. We have one more online. Kevin, this is for you. Will there be any PI-friendly reports that can be generated from the system showing effort distribution by employees and by funding source? For example, projects.
I actually feel like that's a Neil question.
Yeah, it is a reporting question because that's a key one. I mean, that's one of our goals. I understand the need for that very clearly, and that is on our list to develop. So the answer is yes.
Since you mentioned PIs, I'll mention one thing about onboarding and offboarding. The categories that we're going to be able to capture as part of onboarding and offboarding for new employees will also include whether they do human subjects work, animal work, or in a lab, or if they're a PI. And we've been working with the research compliance, central research compliance units to identify these categories so that they can be, one, proactive when we have new employees coming in those groups, or when employees are leaving and labs have to be shut down, animals have to be managed, whatever. So we're excited about that some of that work as well.
I'd like to add one item to the question about teleworking. When I mentioned 115 demographic fields for a generic position, that's one of the fields we'd like to track. So we're prepared to report on it if we can get it in the system. But that would be a logical item.
Hi, can you speak louder? We can't hear you for those of us that are remote.
Okay, I'll just repeat. Essentially, the earlier question about teleworking, when I mentioned earlier that we have 115 demographic data items that we would like to track for any one position, that is a particular attribute that we'd like to be able to see and track, the volume of, and that would be, so we're prepared to develop a report that would track that if the system can capture that data.
Okay, a couple more. For faculty managers, can they allow someone to approve leave requests for their direct reports on their behalf?
Yes, line managers and ETS approvers or payroll reps should be able to submit absences on the employee's behalf, and the line manager and the payroll rep should be able also to approve the absences.
And then I think the question, Glenda, too, is can they delegate someone to do it on their behalf?
Yes, they can do that. That's a new feature that Oracle delivers, and it's the delegation. So let's say as a line manager, you're gonna go on a vacation and you want your time cards or your absences to be approved, you delegate somebody within the department. I don't think there's any role attached to it. You can delegate whoever you want to do the approval, and then you can end the pay period, of course, when you come back.
Awesome, thanks.
You're welcome.
And then I think the last one for today, will the system be able to see who is working out of state?
Yes, we are building infrastructure to manage out-of-state employees who work out of state.
And there will be a report on that.
Thank you, everybody. Enjoy your day.